He was handed the power to save the world, and he ran away. Most people who watch Neon Genesis Evangelion call Shinji Ikari a coward, weak, annoying. But what if everything that makes him frustrating to watch is actually a textbook portrait of a child with severe psychological trauma? Today, we're not analyzing anime. We're doing psychology, and Shinji Ikari might be one of the most accurate depictions of a broken mind ever put to screen. For those unfamiliar, Neon Genesis Evangelion is a 1995 anime series where teenage pilots control giant biomechanical robots called Evangelions to fight monstrous beings called angels. But this show is almost nothing about that. Creator Hideaki Anno has openly said the series is a deeply personal exploration of his own depression and anxiety. Shinji, the reluctant protagonist, is essentially Anno putting his own trauma on screen. That backstory matters, because what we're about to break down isn't just good writing. It's a first-hand account. Shinji's core wound? Abandonment. When Shinji was 3 years old, his mother Yui died, or rather was absorbed into Unit 01 during an experiment. His father Gendo's response was to send Shinji away to live with relatives. No explanation, no comfort, just gone. Psychologists call what develops from this kind of early parental rejection an avoidant attachment style. Here's what that looks like in practice. You want closeness, but you're terrified of it. You push people away before they can abandon you first. You suppress your emotions until they become unbearable. You build walls while desperately wanting someone to break them down. Sound familiar? It's literally every interaction Shinji has in the entire series. Watch how he reacts when Misato tries to connect with him. Watch how he responds to Rei. Even with Asuka, whose aggressive personality he finds terrifying, you see Shinji simultaneously drawn in and completely shut down. This isn't personality. This is a nervous system wired for abandonment. Now let's talk about what's happening inside Shinji's mind, beyond the relationship dynamics. Shinji shows nearly every clinical marker of major depressive disorder with comorbid anxiety. The DSM criteria include persistent sadness, loss of pleasure in activities, feelings of worthlessness, and difficulty making decisions. Shinji has all of them, and the show doesn't romanticize any of it. One of the most telling symptoms is anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure. Notice how Shinji plays his cello. He's technically skilled, but there's no joy in it. Music, which should be his escape, has become another hollow performance, another way to be acceptable to others. His famous internal monologue, "I mustn't run away," isn't determination. It's a kid with depression fighting his own brain's flight response every single day. That's exhausting in a way that people who haven't experienced depression genuinely cannot understand. Of all Shinji's psychological wounds, the one that cuts deepest is his relationship with Gendo Ikari. Gendo is cold, distant, and emotionally abusive in the most clinical sense, not through cruelty, but through total withdrawal. He never acknowledges Shinji as a son, only as a tool. Psychologists studying children of emotionally unavailable parents consistently find one outcome. The child internalizes the rejection as a fundamental defect in themselves. Shinji doesn't think my father is broken. He thinks, I am not worth loving. This is the engine behind all of his behavior. He pilots the EVA not because he wants to help humanity. He explicitly says this. He does it because each mission is a desperate bid for one thing, his father to acknowledge him. That's not weakness. That's a child trying to earn love from a man incapable of giving it. And it's one of the most heartbreaking things ever written into an animated character. So why does this matter beyond anime? Because millions of people watched Evangelion as teenagers and saw themselves in Shinji, not despite his flaws, but because of them. And many of them had no language for what they were feeling until they saw it drawn out on screen. Hideaki Anno didn't create a perfect hero. He created something rarer, an honest portrait of what it feels like to be a person who is struggling and has no idea why. If you recognized yourself in any part of what we talked about today, the avoidance, the numbness, the desperate need for validation from someone who won't give it, that's worth paying attention to. Talking to someone about it matters. Next week, we're going to look at another iconic anime protagonist with a very different psychological profile, someone who didn't run away, but maybe should have. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. I'll see you in the psyche.